Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. Today, we are going to take a look at, install, dissect, show you all the pieces necessary to install the JVC Kw Z800AW direct replacement radio. This is going to be going in a Mustang. This is an 8-inch screen, and these are all the things you're going to need, and you're going to learn about that all today. Let's get started. The direct replacement radios are a whole new form factor of radios. They're not a single DIN, they're not a double DIN. They are a 8-inch replacement screen. They're designed to integrate exactly like the factory screen does. There are some metal brackets that are required that are provided by iData. You're gonna need a Maestro of some kind. This is the RR2, a harness for the back of the radio, and this is the new mic 1 that allows us to integrate into the factory microphone. We're gonna break this video into a whole bunch of sub videos explaining the whole journey along the way. To start with, we are going to dive deep into the Z800AW and all the features that it has, all the cables, all the parts, some of the cables it doesn't have. Let's get started unboxing this. First out of the box is a remote control. Wait for it. There's also an IR controller for the remote control. The reason why it comes with a remote control is not so that you could have flashbacks to the 90s where you had that remote control sitting on your leg and you're controlling it. It is if you're not going to be doing an iData installation, you'll need some way to control the radio because there's no buttons on it. There's no knobs, there's no dials. It's all controlled via iData's interfacing with your vehicle. So in the Mustang, this is going to go in. It has a volume, it has a track, it has presets, it has all these buttons. If you were going to install it, let's say a classic car or a car that doesn't have an interface from iData, you'll need this guy. It has a single USB-C on it, and it comes with a 1-meter USB-C cable. If you do not have a phone with a USB-C or your car does not have USB-C, it does come with an adapter to go from USB-C to regular USB. This does wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, and in order to do that, it does need a GPS antenna. This is an all-new antenna this year for these radios. It's a micro adapter compared to the other one, which was much bigger. So if you are going to be replacing a older radio with this newer system, you will need to update the GPS antenna. There is a hands-free microphone in the box. New for these radios, harnesses for the RCAs. In past, the RCAs were on the back of the radio brain. Because these are multi-piece units, it kind of makes sense to shrink down the brain box to fit it into some smaller places. They've added a cable for that. On this cable, we have the subwoofer with this brown flag. The gray is front, the black is rear, and then the short guy over here is audio in. There's also another harness in the box. This is for the cameras as well as video out. It has this one long one here that is the video out. We have third camera view, front camera or dash cam, rear cam, and video in. Now there's also these two little ground wires here that need to be attached to the chassis of the radio, the metal plate for the GPS antenna, and one screw. There is a startup guide along with a JVC card. Keep this card in a safe place and accessible place. When you call JVC dealer for service, inform the model number written on this card. Updated information, the latest instruction manual, system updates, new functions is available from JVC JVC.net, and this guy here, if you scan it, will take you off to that. And of course it says the model, which is the Kw-Z800AW. The first thing out of the box is the brain. Remove the big piece of tape. Coming off of the unit are these two cables here. These are the cables that are going to go off to the new screen. They are 2 feet long. If you're doing this in an application where this brain is, let's say, going to be mounted farther away, such as like a newer Chevy Silverado, then there is an extension cable that is available for this. Looking at the flat side of the radio where the two cables come out of, there is an indentation for the cables, so this can be pulled up flush to something if need be. That takes us to the back of the radio. The first thing up is the antenna. It is a wired extension on it, which is really nice. You get about 4 inches. This is very handy because in a lot of dashes that factory antenna is super tight and there is an adapter usually, but this will allow you to have some room to move around. This, believe it or not, is one of my favorite features about these radios, is this little pigtail antenna. Below that is the port for your Sirius XM tuner. iData module plugs in here, as well as right below it is the secondary harness for that. Next to that is our microphone input. As you'll see, there's two that look identical. On the face itself, it does say mic and it does say iData. This first plug here on the bottom is for our RCA outputs. There's a little clip here on the top. Clip goes facing up. Push in until you hear the click. GPS antenna is going to plug in right above it. There is a clip located on the top of that as well. Slide it in, listen for the snap. Over to the far left is our power plug input. This is where we have to take a time out. We just got done unboxing everything that was in the radio as far as harnesses were concerned. Power cable was not there. These radios do not come with a power cable in the box. The reason for that is because they're designed to work with one of these Apex kits. Even though you can put these in other things, JVC did not put the power cable in the box. You do need this guy here, which is the Maestro Kw Z800. The Kw Z800 has a adapter end on it here that is designed to plug into the Apex kit, and it has the Kenwood harness here that clicks into place. Located at the top corner here, this screw, this piece of metal, remove the screw and the piece of metal, and you can see down inside of it are some connections. This is where the USB-C is designed to plug in. This side here is a micro HDMI input if you'd like to display HDMI on your unit. When you're done, put the metal piece back in place and replace the screw. That will lock the USB and the micro HDMI into place. And I didn't forget it, this last plug right here is our camera input. Just like the AV in, it has a clip on the top. Snap it into place. And remember that one little screw we had? That one weird, why did we have that? Take the two eyelets, thread our screw into them. And then right here above the AV, screw those into place. Make sure to keep them away from this top piece here because you don't want them to get in the way of that. And also don't cover the GPS antenna. Now some of you are going to be curious about the size of this radio chassis. It is 4 1/4. With all the harnesses, I would probably give it about 5 1/2 of depth. 7. And it is standard single DIN chassis height of 2 inches. Next in the box is this. Basically what we're here for. Now conveniently enough, they do put a nice piece of plastic over the front of the screen, which makes me very happy. The other thing to note is that there is a top, a bottom, a left, and a right, of course. But it's important because the distance between here and here and here and here, as far as where the screen is centered on, is different on all sides. It's a little bit wider here than it is here, and it's a little bit wider here than it is here. When you flip the radio over to the back, there is some writing on the back of it here that tells you how deep the screws can be that are going to go into here. Now those screws are going to be in your Apex kit, and pay attention because if you're going too far, well guess what? You'll see the screw heads pop out this side of the screen. You don't want that to happen. The other thing is to make sure that you don't put it in the kit upside down. I know that seems like hard, like how would I do that? But believe it or not, it's easier than you think. There again, writing on the top, and if you can read the writing, then you know that is top. They did not clearly put an arrow that says top. There's 3 inputs on the back of this, the blue, the gray, and this clear looking one. The blue is designed for the blue cable that comes off of the brain. Clip towards the top, push it in until you hear the snap. Gray cable goes next. Push it in until you hear the snap. And then this guy here is if you are going to be doing remote control, it's going to plug in here. To release this, there's a clip here. You got to kind of wiggle it out. It's in there really nice and tight, as expected. I like to use these little clip removal tools. Kind of looks like a flathead screwdriver, but it's not. Makes it very simple. Now that we've seen all the parts that come in the radio, let's take a look inside of the Apex kit. Remove the sleeve. For this Mustang, we're going to be using the S8, which is telling us this screen here. These are called S8. There is another version of this. In this case, if you have the Mustang, it has that small little screen in it. There's a JVC float mount screen that's designed to come out of that little hole and put a nice big 10-inch in front of it. So you get to keep your whole factory bezel. Lots of stuff inside of the kit. The first one is a quick start guide. Basically tells you to go to iData Link Maestro and download their software to your laptop, whether it be Windows or Mac, because you're going to need it to flash your RR2 in this case, as well as your Mic 1. Inside of this kit, there's some plastics. These plastics are designed to retain the factory USB in the armrest, and there is a provision for a USB-C as well as a regular USB. Even though this radio only has a USB-C output, this is the one we'll be using. This will just put a dummy plate over. If you wanted to, you could buy a charger and have a charge point in there for this. That's up to you. We'll take a close look at all these parts when we actually go to build this kit. The main wiring harness. If you've ever put in an iData harness before, they're a little bit long. These are not. These are very specific lengths because they know what it's going to be going in, and they didn't add any extra wire to it. This end here is what is going to plug into the Ken 1 cable, just like this. And then this will plug into the brain of the JVC, and that's it. The goal there is that you won't have to do any soldering or cutting or butt connecting or anything like that. It speeds up the installation process. This will also retain your factory camera. There's also the antenna adapter and those USB adapters. Large bag of screws. These are the screws that we'll be using to attach the JVC screen into the brackets. Because if you notice, the JVC didn't come with any screws because they're all here in the Maestro kit. And then down here are some metal brackets to facilitate the install. This big guy right here is what you'll be using if you have that Ford that has the small screen. This will allow you to add the JVC float screen to it. This kit is a 2-in-1 kit. It comes with both the S8 and the float mounts inside of it. So not all of these pieces will be being used in this installation. Then down here in the bottom, they give you this guy in every kit. This is a pry tool to help you disassemble the car. Well, there we have it. There is all the pieces that we have, where they're going to go, how it's going to plug in. This is going to be the end of part 1. Part 2, we're going to power this thing up and check out all the features that we can gain access to before we put it in the car. Because once we put it in the car, we'll hook up the RR2, and this will give us even more things that we can take a look at. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. We hope you found it helpful. Have a great day, and we'll see you later next time. Bye.